Welcome back to Untold Histories, and to part 2 of our 2-part series on the history of the Indonesian spice trade and how it shaped the global economy. If you missed part 1, you will find the link above or in the description of the video below. Now let's continue telling the story of this fascinating piece of history that shaped the economy for hundreds of years during the history of the spice trade era. The spice trade brought immense wealth to European nations, transforming once modest trading cities into bustling metropolises. Ports such as Amsterdam and Lisbon became gateways to the world, where spices from Indonesia were bought, sold, and shipped to every corner of the globe. One city that experienced a remarkable transformation was Amsterdam. As the Dutch gained control over the spice trade, Amsterdam became the epicenter of the spice market. The city blossomed into a vibrant hub of commerce and finance, attracting merchants, investors, and adventurers from all corners of the world. Similarly, Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, thrived as a result of the spice trade. It served as a crucial gateway for spices arriving from the east, becoming a bustling port city where goods from across the globe were traded. The wealth generated by the spice trade fueled an unprecedented wave of construction and expansion in these cities. Magnificent port facilities, warehouses, and trading houses were built, showcasing the grandeur and power of these maritime nations. The streets of Amsterdam and Lisbon bustled with merchants, traders, and craftsmen. The spice trade created a thriving marketplace where goods from distant lands exchanged hands, stimulating commerce and innovation. The impact of the spice trade extended beyond the realm of economics. The influx of wealth and cultural exchange fueled a period of artistic and intellectual flourishing. In Amsterdam, painters such as Rembrandt and Vermeer captured the opulence of the spice trade in their masterpieces, immortalizing its influence on society. The wealth accumulated through the spice trade also led to the growth of banking and financial institutions. Amsterdam became a center for international finance, facilitating trade and investment across borders. These institutions provided the necessary infrastructure for the expansion of global commerce. The spice trade played a pivotal role in the rise of a prosperous middle class. Merchants who dealt in spices and other luxury goods amassed great fortunes, gaining social status and political influence. The spice trade created opportunities for upward mobility, shaping the social fabric of these cities. The prosperity brought by the spice trade influenced urban planning and architectural advancements. Magnificent buildings, palaces, and public spaces adorned these cities, reflecting the wealth and ambition of their inhabitants. The iconic canals of Amsterdam and the opulent palaces of Lisbon stand as enduring legacies of this transformative era. The spice trade also brought diverse cultural influences to these cities. As traders and explorers from different nations converged, ideas, customs, and traditions merged, creating a multicultural tapestry that enriched the social and intellectual fabric of Amsterdam and Lisbon. Indonesian spices not only captured the imaginations of European traders, but also revolutionized their cuisines. Nutmeg, cloves, and pepper infused European dishes with new flavors, forever changing the way people ate and cooked. European chefs eagerly embraced the exotic flavors of Indonesian spices, incorporating them into their traditional recipes. The addition of these aromatic ingredients brought a delightful complexity and depth to familiar dishes, creating a culinary revolution. Nutmeg, with its warm and fragrant aroma, became a prized ingredient in European kitchens. Chefs grated nutmeg into creamy sauces, stews, and baked goods, adding a subtle sweetness and an intriguing earthy note. Cloves, with their distinctive intense flavor, became a staple in European cuisine. Chefs used cloves to infuse their dishes with a rich spiciness, enhancing the taste of meats, soups, and even desserts. Pepper, once considered a luxury spice, became widely available thanks to the spice trade. European chefs enthusiastically ground pepper onto their dishes, embracing its fiery kick and using it to enliven everything from savory meats to delicate fruits. The influence of Indonesian spices extended to a wide range of dishes. Traditional European cuisines evolved as Indonesian flavors harmoniously mingled with local ingredients. Spiced pies, aromatic broths, and flavorful roasts became signatures of this culinary transformation. The introduction of Indonesian spices encouraged European chefs to explore new flavor combinations. They experimented with the delicate balance between sweetness and spiciness, creating innovative and adventurous culinary experiences. Indonesian spices even found their way into European sweets and desserts. Nutmeg and cloves imparted their warmth to cakes, pastries, and confections, infusing them with a captivating allure that delighted the senses. As the use of Indonesian spices spread throughout Europe, chefs eagerly shared their creations with one another. Culinary techniques, recipes, and flavor profiles were exchanged, fostering a culinary renaissance that crossed borders and enriched the collective palate. The integration of Indonesian spices into European cuisines marked a significant turning point in the continent's culinary identity. It reflected the spirit of exploration, discovery, and cultural exchange that defined the era, forever changing the way Europeans ate and cooked. The demand for Indonesian spices soared, leading to the establishment of dedicated spice markets in European cities. These bustling marketplaces became vibrant hubs of cultural exchange, where people from different backgrounds gathered to buy, sell, and savor the flavors of Indonesia. In these dedicated spice markets, traders from far and wide converged, showcasing a diverse array of Indonesian spices. The air was filled with the intoxicating scents of cloves, nutmeg, and pepper, enticing visitors to explore the treasures that lay before them. Traders and customers engaged in lively conversations, haggling over prices and sharing stories of distant lands. The spice markets became melting pots of cultures as people from different backgrounds interacted and exchanged ideas, enriching the social fabric of these vibrant spaces. Culinary demonstrations and tastings were a common sight in these spice markets. Chefs showcased the versatility of Indonesian spices, captivating the crowd with their skillful use of flavors. Visitors eagerly sampled the creations, discovering new tastes and expanding their culinary horizons. Elaborate displays showcased the Indonesian spices and highlighted their origins. Maps, artwork, and cultural artifacts transported visitors to the exotic lands where these treasures were cultivated. The spice market served as windows into the rich heritage and natural abundance of Indonesia. The spice markets were not just places of trade, but also cultural hubs. Musicians, dancers, and performers entertained the crowds, adding a festive atmosphere to the bustling marketplaces. Visitors immersed themselves in the sights, sounds, and flavors of Indonesia. The spice markets became platforms for the exchange of recipes and culinary traditions. European chefs and home cooks eagerly learned from Indonesian traders, discovering new techniques and incorporating them into their own culinary repertoire. This cultural exchange sparked innovation and transformed the European culinary landscape. Alongside the Indonesian spices, new ingredients and flavors from different parts of the world also found their way into the spice markets. Exotic fruits, herbs, and condiments enriched the culinary offerings, creating a diverse and eclectic mix of tastes and aromas. The spice markets embraced cultural diversity, fostering an environment of tolerance and acceptance. People from various backgrounds came together, united by their love for spices and their appreciation of the rich tapestry of human experiences. The legacy of the spice markets endured long after the height of the spice trade. They left an indelible mark on European cities, shaping their cultural identities and fostering a deep appreciation for global flavors. Today, the influence of these vibrant marketplaces can still be felt in the culinary traditions and multiculturalism of European societies. However, the pursuit of spice also sparked conflicts between European powers. Wars were fought, alliances were made and broken, all in the quest for dominance over Indonesia's lucrative spice trade. All in the quest for dominance over these precious commodities. European nations recognized the immense wealth and strategic importance of controlling the spice trade. Naval battles raged across the seas as fleets clashed in fierce confrontations, vying for supremacy and control over the spice-rich regions of Indonesia. To secure their positions, European powers established fortresses and trading posts throughout the Indonesian archipelago. These strongholds served as bases of operations, enabling them to protect their interests and establish a foothold in the region. Diplomatic negotiations and treaties played a significant role in the pursuit of spice dominance. European powers sought to secure exclusive rights and trading privileges through diplomatic means, forging alliances or leveraging existing political dynamics in their favor. The pursuit of spice brought about shifting alliances and betrayals among European powers. Allegiances were forged and broken as nations sought to gain the upper hand in this high-stakes game of trade dominance. Loyalties were tested, and friendships turned into bitter rivalries. The control of spice-producing territories became a critical objective for European powers. They launched military expeditions and campaigns, seeking to capture and control the islands and regions that held the key to the spice trade. The competition among European powers was fierce. Rival traders engaged in acts of espionage, sabotage, and piracy to undermine their competitors and gain an edge in the spice trade. The pursuit of wealth and power fueled a relentless drive for dominance. It is essential to note that the conflicts between European powers had a profound impact on the local populations of Indonesia. The spice trade brought about upheavals, displacements, and exploitation of indigenous communities as their lands and resources became contested territories in the battle for control. The conflicts over the spice trade had lasting consequences for both Europe and Indonesia. They shaped the political, economic, and social landscapes of these regions, leaving a complex legacy that is still felt today. Eventually, the balance of power shifted among the European powers. The Dutch emerged as the dominant force in the spice trade, establishing the Dutch East India Company and monopolizing the trade routes, leading to the decline of other European contenders. The pursuit of dominance over Indonesia's spice trade came at a high cost. Lives were lost, economies were strained, and cultural exchanges were overshadowed by conflicts. It serves as a reminder of the lengths nations would go to control a commodity that held immense value and influence. Despite the tumultuous times, Indonesia's spice production continued to flourish, providing a steady supply of precious commodities that captivated the world. Amidst the conflicts and power struggles, the spice-rich lands of Indonesia remained a beacon of abundance. The Dutch East India Company, known as the VOC, emerged as the dominant force, establishing a monopoly over the spice trade and exerting control over large parts of the Indonesian archipelago. Established in 1602, the VOC became a powerful entity that would shape the course of Indonesian history and the global spice trade. The VOC established a network of trading posts and fortresses throughout the Indonesian archipelago. These fortified settlements served as centers of operation, enabling the Dutch to exert control over the production, processing, and distribution of spices. Through a series of strategic alliances, diplomatic maneuvering, and military expeditions, the VOC gained a monopoly over the spice trade. They imposed strict regulations, controlling the production and distribution of spices, ensuring that their profits remained unparalleled. VOC ships, known as Dutch East Indiamen, sailed the vast seas, transporting spices from Indonesia to markets around the world. These well-armed vessels secured the Dutch monopoly, protecting their valuable cargo from rival traders and pirates. The VOC's dominance extended beyond the spice trade. They exerted control over large parts of the Indonesian archipelago, establishing colonial rule and exploiting the region's resources. Plantations were established and local populations were subjected to Dutch authority. The VOC's presence brought significant changes to the local communities of Indonesia. They implemented new agricultural practices, introduced European technologies, and restructured local economies to serve their interests. These changes had both positive and negative impacts on the indigenous populations. Dutch influence permeated Indonesian culture as elements of European customs, language, and governance became integrated into local traditions. The Dutch presence left an indelible mark on Indonesian society, shaping its trajectory for centuries to come. The VOC's legacy in Indonesia is complex and multifaceted. While they monopolized the spice trade and established colonial rule, their influence also brought advancements in infrastructure, education, and technology. The VOC laid the groundwork for modern-day Indonesia, leaving behind a legacy that continues to shape the nation's identity. Eventually, the winds of change swept through Indonesia. The struggle for independence against colonial powers united the Indonesian people, and in 1945, Indonesia proclaimed its independence, marking the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in its history. Indonesian activists, intellectuals and leaders emerged, rallying their fellow countrymen in the fight for freedom. They organized protests, published influential writings, and championed the idea of an independent Indonesia, inspiring a sense of national pride and unity. The desire for independence transcended differences in language, culture, and religion. The Indonesian people, recognizing their shared history and aspirations, stood together as a united front against colonial rule. The red and white flag of Indonesia, known as the Sangsaka Merah Putih, was proudly raised, symbolizing the nation's hard-fought independence. It became a powerful emblem of Indonesian identity, representing the resilience and unity of its people. The journey towards full independence was not without challenges. Indonesia had to navigate the complexities of transitioning from colonial rule to self-governance. The road ahead was filled with obstacles, but the Indonesian people remained steadfast in their commitment to building a free and prosperous nation. Indonesian leaders such as Sukarno and Hatta emerged as visionary figures, guiding the nation through this transformative period. They worked tirelessly to establish democratic institutions, promote social justice, and forge a path towards national development. The proclamation of independence marked the beginning of a nation-building process. Indonesians embraced the opportunity to shape their own destiny, embracing values of unity, diversity, and resilience as they set out to build a new Indonesia. In the post-independence era, Indonesia faced numerous challenges, both internal and external. The nation grappled with political, social, and economic issues, but the spirit of independence and the determination of its people propelled Indonesia forward. Today, Indonesia stands as a vibrant and diverse nation, celebrated for its rich cultural heritage, natural beauty, and dynamic economy. The struggle for independence laid the foundation for a modern Indonesia, one that continues to evolve and thrive. As the Indonesian flag continues to wave proudly, it serves as a reminder of the indomitable spirit of the Indonesian people and their unwavering commitment to freedom, unity, and progress. The spice trade brought wealth, cultural exchange, and global connections to Indonesia. It shaped the destiny of nations and left an indelible mark on our world. The legacy of Indonesia's golden era lives on in the flavors we savor, the stories we tell, and the rich tapestry of cultures that intertwine across continents. The exotic spices of Indonesia, such as cloves, nutmeg, and pepper, not only tantalized the taste buds, but also became catalysts for cultural exchange and innovation. These precious commodities traveled vast distances, carried on spice-laden ships that connected distant corners of the world. The spice trade created a web of global connections, linking Indonesia with distant lands and cultures. It forged intricate trade routes that crisscrossed continents, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and traditions. The flavors of Indonesia's golden era merged with the cuisines of Europe, Asia, and beyond, forever altering the way we eat and cook. Indonesian spices infused dishes with their unique allure, creating a culinary legacy that transcends borders and delights palates to this day. Spice markets, bustling with activity and vibrant with diversity, became epicenters of cultural exchange. People from different backgrounds gathered, their languages and customs intermingling as they sought to buy, sell, and savor the flavors of Indonesia. The legacy of Indonesia's golden era lives on in the stories and legends passed down through generations. Tales of brave explorers, ambitious traders, and the allure of distant lands still captivate our imagination, reminding us of the transformative power of the spice trade. The legacy of Indonesia's golden era reminds us of the beauty that emerges when different cultures come together in harmony. Today, Indonesia's role as a global spice hub continues to thrive. The country remains a major producer and exporter of spices, contributing to the flavors and aromas that grace kitchens around the world. Its spices carry the echoes of centuries-old traditions and the spirit of exploration. As we savor the flavors, embrace the stories, and celebrate the cultural tapestry woven by the spice trade, let us be grateful for Indonesia's golden era. Its legacy reminds us of the power of trade, connection, and the enduring impact of a small seed that once sparked a global revolution. Thank you for joining us on this captivating journey through Indonesia's golden era. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories from around the world. Until next time, keep exploring the untold histories that shape our world.